Hi everyone, I'm Gary from Return of the Nerd, and I'm back again for another review of Kenobi. And I'm joined here with my forced partner from the UK, Eric. Are you sensing?
Hello there.
Hello there.
Are you feeling it today?
I'm feeling it today. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm feeling many. I'm feeling many things today.
I'm feeling
Pain, anger,
suffering. We've done a review for episodes 1 and 2. Then we did the review for episode 3 last week.
3.
And
Yes.
today we're going to talk about episode 4. But, okay, just want to mention one thing.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Let me hit you with something that I don't think any YouTuber or anyone on social media has mentioned this yet, and I'm going to be the first one. I hope so. Okay, a lot of people are getting uptight about Kenobi, about the Empire, saying that why don't they do this and why don't they just do that? Because they're so powerful and they're everywhere, and you've got Palpatine and they're Sith. And then I just want to point out to everyone, the fucking Death Star has not been finished yet. Do you understand?
It hasn't.
Do you understand the implications? They do not have this weapon yet.
This is true. If they watch Rogue One, that happens right before A New Hope. This is 9 years before A New Hope.
Thank you, Eric.
So,
oh my God, someone with some freaking common sense. So they're always going on about,
I've been getting that a lot lately.
The Inquisitors could just kill anyone on sight, and they could just do. Vader can just do. No, he can't just do whatever he pleases because Palpatine is still technically the Chancellor in the Galactic Senate is still, it's there. It's full of senators, like half of them kind of on his side, and they kind of bought into this. The Jedi are the traitors, Order 66 handles necessary evil, blah, blah, blah. But then there's all these other systems that don't agree with this. And if he's not going to go along with them, how's he going to control the whole galaxy without a Death Star?
This is madness.
This is true. If you remember the center of New Hope, Tarkin specifically says the Emperor has dissolved the Senate, and all of the old everything of the old Republic has been wiped away. And the other general says, "Well, how will he maintain control of the system?
Bureaucracy."
He said the governors will have regional control of their systems.
Good.
Okay.
See, this is you should know this. If you're gonna complain about Disney now crapping on the original trilogy, you need to do your homework first, all right? Because that's one of the most important interactions that happen in A New Hope is Tarkin sitting around the table, and he's got all of his chief of staff, and they're not completely in control of the galaxy.
No, they're not. And
they don't even know if this Death Star even can work.
Well, technically, that's not true because by that time, hadn't they already tested it on Alderaan? They had already tested it on Jeddah.
Well, they had tested it, but they hadn't actually blown up an entire planet. And Vader also, he's not so convinced that the Death Star is going to help them in their cause to conquer the entire galaxy, because that whole scene where we are first introduced to the concept of being force choked.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Enough of this. Vader, release him.
Just go back and watch that, and then I think maybe just calm down with the negative comments on Kenobi.
Yeah, I agree, because there was a post that I had mentioned, or that I had made a comment on the other day, and it said, how would you rate this episode 4? And I put on there, everybody was like 1 star, 2 star, this sucks. And I put on there, for me, 5 stars. I was like, you've got Purge Troopers, you've got T-47 air speeders, you've got Kenobi looking more like Kenobi and acting more like Kenobi. I mean, Plus, you've got the Fortress Inquisitorius.
Yes.
What more? It may have been a short episode, but they packed a lot into it.
Yeah.
Kenobi, in the space of that short episode, if you notice, he was trying to use the Force just to pull something across the table at one point.
Yeah.
He went from holding water back holding water back on a window.
Yep.
It was I think that was more reactionary, but still he did it.
This whole episode was kind of showing us that the Jedi respond to love, compassion, and their purpose is to protect, not to kill or attack. So he's getting his strength back and his will to reconnect with the Force because he sees the evil, because he hasn't seen any of that. Again, I keep repeating myself, he's been a hermit in a cave for 10 years. He doesn't know what's going on, and now he's seeing it with his own two eyes.
Well, he's also seeing that there's a lot beginnings of a larger rebellion, and because he asked Tala why in the last episode why she does this, and she said, "Well, to help people."
Yep.
I joined the Empire when it originally stood for something before I realized what it actually was.
Yeah.
So
I really, really love that they've introduced the path.
Yes.
Because that was such a big part of Rebels, and they introduced it last week when they are trying to smuggle Leia out, and there's all these names etched into the wood, and you've got Quinlan Voss, jaw-dropping moment, and there's a bunch of other Jedi names on there as well that some people they've figured out who they are.
Yes.
So I like that. And the rebellion, they haven't formed as an official organization yet.
No, they're still more of little cells that are taking pot shots at the Empire. Taking little chunks out of it before they actually form. By the end of Rebels or beginning of Rogue One or whichever it was.
Well, it shows how vulnerable they are, because you think that the Empire, they rule with an iron fist, and the galaxy is a big place. There's lots of systems, and there's lots of different people and species. So without that Death Star, and with half the Senate kind of like not siding with you, good luck.
Until this battle station is fully operational, we are vulnerable. Until this battle station is fully operational, we are vulnerable.
I'm wondering, is this really only going to be a 6-episode series?
Somebody mentioned that they think there might be a secret episode that might play, but knowing Lucasfilm, probably not. It's probably going to stick with the 6-episode. I'm hoping for something a little extra, because they've only got 2 episodes. We're more than halfway done.
I want more.
We've got 2. So do I. I think it's if you think of it, because I think of it in terms of as a whole film. We're getting parts of a film.
Yes.
Okay. And even in a movie such as Revenge of the Sith or A New Hope or even Phantom Menace, there's lulls in the film.
Right.
Okay. So the first 2 episodes were a little slow. Okay, you got to bring the characters back in, so it's going to be a little slow.
Yep.
Can't just jump right into the action. These people that complain they just want lightsabers and laser guns, and it's like, no, I'm sorry, that's not Star Wars. Yes, that's part of Star Wars, but you're ignoring the story.
Yeah.
You just want substance without any story, and that's just
they just want
dumb.
They just want lots of. And I like the way that they built up Ewan McGregor's character from being completely broken down and in pieces, and now we see him in episode 4, and he's getting. I mean, he doesn't have even 50% of his Jedi abilities.
No, he doesn't. Well, you also got to remember that I forget, was it episode 2? Or episode 3, one of the 2, Yoda stated that the dark side was clouding everything. And the dark side's taking over, the Jedi's powers are going to be diminished. So even at full strength now, he's not going to be at full strength like he was in episode 3.
Right.
You know, no matter what, because his attunement to the Force is not, it's going to be overshadowed by the dark side.
Well, especially
at this moment,
especially with his telekinesis going on with Anakin there. That first opening scene where he's in the Bacta tank and then it switches from Anakin, and Anakin's almost, he's doing it on purpose. He really wants Obi-Wan to feel his pain and suffering.
Yeah. It's almost like the dyad of Rey and Kylo to a certain degree.
There's a little bit like that. Yes, you're right. And go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, you go. No, what you want to do? You go ahead.
I really, really got into I love everything to do with the fortress. I love that place because I've played the video game and I was like, awesome, this is completely the same as the video game. We've got no problems with that.
Right.
And you just mentioned the Purge Trooper. Yes. I was like,
yes, there was 2 of them.
I was waiting for that episode. I was like, where's the Purge Troopers? Where's the Purge Troopers? And then he comes marching down the corridor. That was such an awesome scene. That's the best scene in the whole, I think it's one of the best scenes in that episode is when Kenobi, he has to use his lightsaber in order to protect himself and Leia. Like he was in The Phantom Menace, right? That scene with Qui-Gon.
And you notice by the end when he he finally closed the door, he did that twirl with his lightsaber like he used to. Someone did point out that if you watch Darth Vader's stances and fighting style, he's still fighting more like Anakin than he is Darth Vader from A New Hope. So he's still struggling with that.
I think so too.
Because all his limbs are going to have a lag in them, and that was his main complaint about his cybernetic arm in Revenge of the Sith and all that, because it had a lag, and now all of his limbs have that.
I'm pretty sure
they were built.
Vader, like after he got roasted on Mustafar, and then we see him again in Rogue One and then A New Hope. I'm pretty sure he doesn't just wear the same suit every single day.
I'm sure he doesn't. He does get upgraded. Well, you got to remember that first suit. He's the baddest. He's the baddest person in the galaxy.
Yeah.
But his suit is built by the lowest bidder.
Right.
It's cheap parts. He apparently complained that all with the limb that he got during Attack of the Clones was better quality than the limbs he got after Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, well, some people say that Palpatine was very aware of his dark side abilities, so he did that on purpose when he designed Vader's and put him back to pieces again.
He did that he did do that on purpose so Vader would have trouble overthrowing him.
Yes.
It's also the fact that the more limbs he loses, the lower of a midi-chlorian count he has, that dreaded M word.
The M word. We mustn't
the M word. The lower midi-chlorian count he's going to have, because he's of course losing flesh parts. But so his abilities are diminished too.
Now you've mentioned the M word, that gives me a little segue into another thing that I wanted to talk about, which was the lower chambers of the fortress, where Obi-Wan discovers, dun dun dun, he says it's a tomb down here. Like, what the f we got Jedi, and it looks like they are, I think they're dead and they've been christened.
Oh, I'm sure that
it reminded me of Jurassic Park when they talk about the mosquito that's been caught in the amber, and then they extract the DNA and put it into the Is that what Palpatine's doing? He's extracting
I don't know what that substance is, but that's what it looks like. Because if you remember Rebels, they used Luminara Unduli's corpse to trick Kanan into coming to the Spire.
Right.
And because he wanted a true Jedi to train Ezra at that time. And I think that's what that is. Plus the fact that they like to experiment on Force users, so of course they're going to preserve their bodies.
Yeah.
Especially trying to resurrect a body for Palpatine later on.
Yeah.
To keep him alive.
Interesting.
So, and it was interesting. It was really neat to see Jedi Master Tera Sinube.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, he was really interesting. I really like that episode, Lightsaber Lost, when he's just going at his own pace and doing what he has to do, and Ahsoka's like running circles around him and still lagging behind him.
Right.
It's a great episode, and he's a really good character. I am sorry we didn't get to see him in live action alive.
Alive, yeah. I recognized a couple of the Jedi, but most of them I was like, I don't know who they are. They just seem like kind of random Jedis. There's one in there that people they're like, it's Mace Windu. It's Windu. Look. No,
it's not. It's not. There's another one that looks similar to, what is his name? Saci Tin.
Yes.
And they think there's another one of his species that has a broken horn. I forget what his name is.
Yes, but it's on like the wrong side or something.
Yeah, something like that. So I think the other ones were. There may be some reference to them, but I don't think they're anything really big.
Yeah.
Because there was one that even similar to Quinlan Voss, but we don't know if that's actually him. But I think
there seems to be a lot of kind of mentioning of Quinlan, and I just wonder, like, are we going to see him before this season finishes? Maybe.
I hope so.
And then that will be like a big twist, because everyone's expecting Qui-Gon, right, to come in and save the day and train Obi-Wan. But from what we've seen from episode 4, I don't know if he really needs Qui-Gon to help him with his training.
I know they're gonna have to at one point in these next 2 episodes take a little bit of the episode and do a bit of a backstory on Reva, on why she's so focused on Obi-Wan, why she's so pissed off at him. Because I truthfully believe that she was one of those Jedi younglings in the beginning.
Yeah,
in the very first episode.
I think they took a bunch of younglings and then trained them to join them to be inquisitors, and part of it. And obviously, I think it was like, well, in order for you to pass the test, you have to kill those other 2, and whoever survives can become trained. And she went through this really awful process of becoming an inquisitor. Yeah.
I think that personally, that one Jedi youngling it's entombed in the bottom of Fortress Inquisitorius, I think is one of her group that she was with. Right.
He's still wearing the helmet.
Yeah, exactly. And what really creeped me out is every one of them had their eyes open.
And
they're like in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really creepy.
The fact that you had, like I said, T-47s, you had purge troopers, you had those little probe droids.
They're called seeker droids. Yeah.
Yeah, and they made that that noise, that whoa 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 whoa, same as the regular probe droids. And I thought that was just so cool.
It's interesting, that you were talking about Reva and her backstory, and that we should probably get to know her character a little bit more. So I can't help thinking that Lucasfilm, the writers for Kenobi, they already had in mind lots of spin-off shows. They were going to put this out there, and not just only talk about the conflict between Ben Kenobi and Anakin, who's like now he's Darth Vader now. There's all these other characters involved as well. So we've got Princess Leia as a kid, Bail Organa, and then they have to, obviously, they're one of the like real hardcore members of people who actually begin the Rebel Alliance in the first place and then keep it going for such a long time. And then you've got the Inquisitors, who are also super important to the story as well. So they'll, and they mentioned this week about Hayden. They said that like he's really prepared to come back and do, you know, if there's going to be more spin-offs and just focusing on Vader, maybe Vader's looking for, because he collects a lot of Sith relics, and he's always trying to have more knowledge of the dark side to increase his powers. You know, that's where the whole Dr. Aphra comic book stories come from, and that's you know, so there's so many possibilities here for other spin-off series. I like that.
Yes, there is a great many. I mean, I know what you're talking about. They asked Hayden about having a Darth Vader series. I was like, well, isn't that the entire Star Wars, both trilogies? Both first two trilogies, isn't that the Darth Vader story? But there is a lot more to explore there, because there are many time gaps. It's like, you know, because each of the original trilogy, I think, have a time jump of 3 years,
right?
Because if you ever, it's Legends now, but originally back in the 90s there was a book called Shadows of the Empire, which was a really good book, because you had like Vader rivaling for Emperor's interest with a guy by the name of Prince Shizor.
Right. Yeah.
And that you know, he tried seducing Princess Leia and stuff like that. You know, and Shizor, you know, Vader sent out a bounty on Luke's head alive, and Shizor sends it out for him dead, so that it looks like Vader sent it out. It was a really good book.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, for most of us in the older generation, that for us Vader was dead.
Right.
And to actually bring him back and have new content with him is just an amazing thing. You know, and I was going to make a point in this episode, seeing Vader storm in the way he did and just grab Reva by the neck, force choker. I mean, you could see the anger. There was apparently in the last episode, when he was going through that town, apparently they had to tone that down because he was supposed to be a lot more vicious.
Yeah, it's supposed to be more yes.
Yeah, he was supposed to do like a Rogue One style type tear through the town type thing. Yeah. And the person that was mentioning this, he's right. It would have undermined his character at that point, I think. I think they did the right thing by toning it down and just having him torture a few people as he goes along.
Right, yeah.
Or kill a couple people. It made more of an impact.
Right.
Versus just tearing through the town and slicing everybody in half.
Yeah.
I mean, if everybody's dead, who's there to fear him?
By the way, I'm really happy that I was proved wrong about Princess Leia, because when the show started, I was like, what, does she have to be in it? And does she have to be in it so much? And I thought that Kenobi, I thought this was just going to be focusing on his mission to protect Luke on Tatooine. But now going back and then like thinking about all the things that were said and done in A New Hope, it totally makes sense that Leia should be in this, because
yes,
she does know Vader, and yes, she knows who Tarkin is as well. And yes, she becomes part of the Senate, because she grows up in that household, the princess, so she's going to get involved in politics. So in A New Hope, when Vader boards the ship, the first thing that Leia says is, I knew it was you. I could smell your foul stench the moment you came on board. So they know each other already. The thing is like Leia, I think she also knows, like she knows Ben, I think she knows she's different from other people. She's force sensitive or whatever, but she doesn't know anything about Luke at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Nope, she doesn't.
Okay, right. So next week is episode 5, and then the following week we're done, supposedly. Do you have any predictions or words of wisdom for us for next week?
Yeah, Terminator's going to come back from the future and kill everybody.
I'll be back.
We can have another discussion next week after episode 5. And hopefully we can have more head explosion.
Mind blowage.
All right. May the force be with you. And the rest of you who are watching this, don't forget to tune in next week and subscribe and hit like. And what else do they need to do? Don't be a miserable bastard. This is going to be a very climactic, amazing ending.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.